How you guys and girls doing today? Blackbird Game here, and I wanted to bring y'all a quick news video on some Battlefield 1 news. Mainly talking about how people say that they do enjoy the game, but there are some problems that need to be fixed when it comes to Battlefield 1. I'm just reading straight from this article. Once again, I'll have it up in the up in my description box where you can find this article at. It's on whatculture.com. Now, from the very beginning, it says Battlefield 1 beta was one of the more highly anticipated ones in this time, as fans were finally going to be able to play the shooter that wasn't set in the future and the next gen graphics to boot. I mean, that's my personal opinion too. Like, finally a game that's, not set in the future when you're up in space fighting, these aliens and stuff. Naturally, with the early release came the typical bugs and problems you'd be expected to see, as Battlefield 1 beta also had its own server issues to deal with, thanks to a DDoS attack which left everybody unplayable and most players on the first day. I mean, I witnessed that too. I tried to play it and I was so pissed that I couldn't play it. The graphics on the game are incredible, man. That's the main reason why I wanted to play it, being a big COD fan. Other than these issues, problems about the game's core gameplay came to light, so many longtime fans were able to play and test every last feature. I'm going to get into the problems right now. So the first problem, I'm going to have a video coming up in a couple seconds, is the ever-present problem with vaulting. And I noticed this in the game. I mean, I noticed it big time. Like I was sitting there trying to climb up this rock for like 5 to 10 minutes just to get sniped into the back of the head. And it says if there's one thing it seems DICE can never get a solid grasp on, it's on vaulting mechanic in their games. Going to vault over an object only to jump into a wall or halfway is inevitably fall back down. There's some major issues. It said that Battlefield 3, 4, and even Hardline have problems with it, and Battlefield 1 is no different. It said you can thank the map selection for being these problems. Of course, being in a desert with a whole bunch of rocky structures force you to vault on numerous occasions. There's been enough Battlefield games where it has been a problem in some way or another, even Battlefront. It said at this point it should be fixed, and hopefully Battlefield 1 can be the point where it actually happens. So not that super big of a problem, but it is something that you'll notice when you're and then it can get you killed. So I can see why that would be up here. That was number 10. Number 9 is too many hidden features. It said that, and I've got a picture right here of the little page, and it says, did you know that you could change the voice of the announcer from female to male? I didn't even know that. Or that you could turn it off entirely, or that you could change the color of your crosshairs and the color that pops up when you get a headshot in game. It said it's no surprise if not, as these but are a few to the many features tucked away behind countless menus and plenty more. That is one thing I noticed about the menu too. There's a lot of things in the menu that I was surprised to find. I didn't even know that, to be honest with you. It's just thanks to the very simplistic look of Battlefield 1, a lot of usual HUD mechanic players may be used to having it turned off by default, like the kill log, for instance. If you're one of the many players who look to this to find out when squad masters around have died, you'll need to turn it back on. That's one thing I noticed too, is the kill feed. Being a big COD fan, I've stayed on that, and I noticed the kill feed when I was playing, which is quite top tier. It said, and if you'd like to be able to see your gun and equipment on screen at all times, you'll have to turn that back on as well. You can't tell how many times while first playing as a medic I accidentally took out a syringe instead of throwing a health pack because I simply didn't know which button to push. Now, like I said, I had to all manually turn these on as well. I mean, like I said, not that big of a deal, but it can make or break a difference in a heart attack situation. It's a simple solution would be upon startup asking the player if they prefer a more simplistic style of traditional multiplayer presentation. At least that way the options are even there. So that is once again little nip of a problem. Number 10 and number 9 aren't really major stuff. It's just things that in a die-hard situation could really affect you. Number 8, the inability to view squad members on spawn. Is being able to see squad members before you spawn has been a present in the past in Battlefield games, yet it was removed in Battlefield 1. Now, I'm reading on this. This is new to me because I've never really gotten into it myself. It says that it more than likely has to do with the fact that it fits with the time period, as intel like that wouldn't be available at that time. I can see that making sense. That kind of does make sense. What we seem to forget here, though, is this is a video game, not real life. Some features are not there because of realism, but for convenience of the player. Spawning in on a squad member at times can be risky business, and there's no real warning as to whether or not they're in trouble. The only thing that happens is when they are shooting or under fire, the arrow on their map will blink and you're unable to spawn on them for a certain amount of time. So once again, I can see that being an actual, a major problem. Trying to spawn on a squad member and not know what's going on, and having to spawn somewhere else random or far away. I can see that. And let's hit to the next one. Number 7, the awful voiceover. It says, what are we even thinking with this voiceover? I'm not talking about including the use of terminology like apples, butter, and so on. And this is historically accurate. See, these were parts of the British Army's phonetic alphabet from that time. Fans moaned about how the game needed to be true to its time period, and we got it. No matter how silly we're losing objective apples may sound. Yeah, you know, that's I guess that could be a problem, you know, Alpha Bravo Apple Butter. I mean, that's, you know, I guess for somebody who's like, you know, a diehard military person, I can see that being a problem. So rather, it's an actual voice that is so bad, it's funny. So I guess they're talking about the voice, like the person that does it. It sounds like a futuristic voiceover you hear in some sci-fi movie, not something from a gritty WW1 time period. I said WW1, World War I time period. It also, the urgency in the voice doesn't change no matter what is happening. Hearing a sense of urgency while losing an objective will just add to the already awesome atmosphere. That's true, because when they do say that, they're like, we're losing apple butter. We're losing Alpha Bravo. It does. I can't lie. Like, most of these things you don't really pay attention to until they're brought to your attention. It says, we've already seen games realize a bad voiceover and fix it. Remember Peter Dinklage's fiasco from Destiny? Okay, that's just a personal side note. Having something like your general commander or superior officer yelling at you to lose and gain objectives would fit far better. That is true than another robotic or calm voice. That is true. So on to the next one. The post-game scoreboard is far too glitchy. Now, for me, I really didn't pay attention to the scoreboard myself. You know, I really wasn't concerned about my score. I can't lie. I'm not going to try to make y'all laugh. But I was doing horrible to begin with because I'm not used to Battlefield. So, you know, I was going 2-20. But it says that, so you're having the game of your life. You've been playing the objective. And you're holding what seems to be the best KD you've ever had in a while. And you've got to be at the top of the entire game scoreboard. The match ends and you're looking forward to see how much you progress and how much better you did than everybody else. However, upon completion, everything ends. You're thrown directly into the next match with no results. Okay. So I guess it's a bug when it doesn't even show the leaderboard. Sometimes you'll be even thrown into the next match to pick your spawn, only to be taken out of the post-game results. It's finicky and very annoying. There are multiple times where I'd be at a party with friends and half of us were shown the post-scoreboard, the other half were flying planes in the next match. Yeah, that can be a big problem because that can make or break, you know, a team's composure and be outnumbered. So I can see that being a problem. Number 5 is class progression needs to actually work. It says, now, this is something that didn't affect everyone in the beta. Some players were virtually unable to level up to their classes no matter what they tried. Leveling up your basic rank was never a problem, but class rank just didn't work, and it became a more nuisance when class rank determined if you could buy new guns, equipment, or melee weapons. A workaround would eventually found where you have to switch servers every single game to level up. That's a huge problem. I would say that need to be addressed immediately. I was personally one of the more affected by this, and it's one of the biggest gripes with the beta. No matter how many games I played in a scout class or medic class, I couldn't level up any of them. Now, that's a problem. That problem I would say is probably as like common sense is concerned. If I couldn't level up a certain character, or if I couldn't level up, what's the point of playing the game? I mean, they need to fix that immediately. I can see that. Tanks are overpowered. Now, this is number 4. This one, my friend said he was having problems with. I never really witnessed it, maybe because I kept on dying, so I never could actually run into a good tank, but this one here could be a definite problem. It says tanks are too overpowered. Tanks had to be an absolutely terrifying thing to see roll across the battlefield back during World War I, so it's understandable why DICE shot to make them so strong. However, for balancing standpoint, they are just too much. The fact some players have had problems unlocking weapons and equipment factor into this is the AT rocket gun makes such a big difference against tanks but requires unlocking. As so many players are unable to get their hands on it, tanks just run through people. You know, I can understand that. There's one more thing that makes tanks an unstoppable beast out there. The fact that you can repair them from the inside. See, look, I didn't even know that. Okay, so you can repair tanks from the inside. Okay, I didn't even know that myself. So when the other team actually manages to chip away at parts of its health, all you need to do is retreat and repair yourself back up to 100%. In my personal opinion, I mean, that's realistic. I mean, if you have a mechanic or engineer on site, you should be able to fix it. Maybe not fix it all the way to 100%. You know, don't be able to fix it to 100%, you know, but be able to fix a certain part or something, that'd be more realistic. But I can see how that's a problem, considering that if there was a glitch that didn't let you unlock a gun that could take down a tank, yeah, they're pretty much invulnerable. Alright, we're gonna move on to number 3. So number 3, stop making a medic's life so difficult. I had a problem with this one. I really did. every time I pressed the button, every time I died, I pressed that button, I never got revived. Let's see what it talks about. It says, go on, think of many times you were revived, thrown health, or even ammo while playing the Battlefield 1 beta. It's a safe bet the number wasn't very high. While it could have been because you were playing with incompetent teammates, chances are it's because your friendly neighborhood medic simply didn't know you needed help in the first place. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I was halfway across the map yelling for help as I'm down, and only time I got revived when I was playing with a group of friends and he was right beside me. And then I died again and he still didn't revive me after that. So teammate health is now represented as a bar around a very tiny circle that pops up above their head, which makes deciding who does and doesn't need help more difficult. It's very hard to see. When a player does die, you can't see that they need a revive unless they manually prompt it, and it almost never happens as players choose to skip the revive, sending them to pick a spawn location without reducing the respawn time. Skipping the revive period is actually pointless. It should simply not be allowed, as it makes medics unable to fulfill their role. That is true. I mean, what's the point of having a medic that can't, survive, can't revive you with a syringe if, you plain and simply are respawning, you have the option just to skip it. That does make it more realistic if they took away that feature. This is also throwing a med pack down will sometimes result in it clipping through the map and disappearing. While this is more certainly a graphical problem, it affects medic classes directly. Yeah, I can see that being a problem. I mean, that's just in the beta. Of course, the beta is for people to solve problems, so I can see them fixing that definitely. Number 2. Conquest needs to return to its old form. Now, I know nothing about Conquest. I didn't play the Battlefields like that. This is my first time actually spending this much time on a beta or a game of Battlefield period, so I'm going to read this here, but I'm ignorant of the knowledge about it. So when you think of Battlefield multiplayer, there's 2 game modes that come to mind: Conquest and Rush. I did play more Rush than I played Conquest, so both of which were featured in the beta, but one was nothing but a shadow of its former self. Gone was the ticket bleed, and now it was the first to a set score to win, which at first almost never happened thanks to the time limit to place. Halfway through the beta's life, however, this time limit was removed, allowing Conquest matches to be played out from start to finish. I guess that's better. It was the first step in fixing Conquest, but some work still needs to be done as it feels like a glorified game of domination. It says, with deaths and kills no longer affecting the score with the removal of the ticket bleed, death carries absolutely no weight. Constantly storming towards the enemy with zero strategy, just hoping something works out, no longer has its consequences. So it says, of course, there are arguments these changes made of Conquest are for better. Now players are forced to play and not sit out with a sniper rifle, which is probably a make or break, in my opinion, because every single time I would play a Battlefield game, the very first thing that would happen to me is that I would just get taken out by snipers, and that's the main reason why I've always been a Call of Duty fan. So I'm guessing that based on what they're saying here is like this game mode, the way that they have it, forces you to push forward or do nothing but go for kills anywhere other than the objective. It's understandable, but why not make what's considered Conquest now Battlefield 1 a domination playlist and bring back Conquest Battlefield players know and love as well? So like I said, I mean, hey, if they're fixing not being able to camp, I'm all for it. And last but not least, I'm guessing this is the most important one: everything about the user interface. So this is like a personal one, I guess they feel. Where is there to even start with this? Nothing, absolutely nothing is good about the user interface. For starters, the main menu is ripped right out of Battlefront. Not necessarily bad, but it would be nice to see a unique menu system and not just repackaging. On top of that, did you know there is a respawn timer? Indeed, the respawn time in Battlefield 1 is a small white progress bar above the white deploy button. Thanks to both the same color and extremely small, you can barely see it. While it's understandable why the game goes with a minimalistic approach as it fits with the time period, it just feels too bare. There needs to be a more compromise between functionality and minimalism, and at this point Battlefield 1 just simply isn't there. So in conclusion, y'all, I personally think that the number 2 problems I probably have is, like I said, the Conquest mode, the whole sniper thing. If they're able to fix that, I'm fine with that, and the medic situation. Other than that, I'm good to go. User interface and everything like that, like I said, I haven't really played any of the Battlefield, so I haven't, my opinion is invalid when it comes to all that. But other than that, y'all, just the medic and the simple fact that you should be able to, not get sniped every time. That's the only thing that matters to me. Let me know what y'all think. Gamer.